welcome to my channel. My channel is a bit of books, a bit of Disney, and a bit of parenting, and a few other bits and bobs as well. Today is book day. So today I'm talking about what I call the grey spot with children's literature. It's kind of the books for kids that are about sort of 10 and 11 to kind of 13, 14. This age group doesn't have a section when you go into a bookshop or a library. It runs 9 to 12 and then teenage. Unfortunately, that bit in the middle can be quite difficult because the kids can be quite good readers but maybe not quite ready for what is in the teen section. And more importantly, their parents may not be ready for the teen section. What you find is you get a good 12-year-old reader and they're like, oh well, they've read all of the David Williams, Wimpy Kid, classics, all of that stuff, Harry Potter, everything like that. What else is, like, we want to move them up to the next level, because previously for all of kids' reading lives since they've started at school, it's all about move to the next level, move to the next level, move to the next level. And the next level just involves more complicated words and smaller writing, less pictures, that type of thing. And then suddenly you turn the corner into teen fiction / YA, and it is a whole different game. And suddenly lots of the books have black covers. There's words like death and blood in the titles. There have parental advisory stickers on some of the books. There's swearing, there's sex, there's just a lot for parents and even the children to kind of take in, because it is just very different. So this video has the aim of trying to help go through that process a little bit easier. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is this one. It's called The Mystery of the Clockwork Sparrow by Katherine Woodfine. It sits in the 9 to 12. However, the main characters in it, which is Sophie Taylor and Lillian Rose, are actually in their late teens. It is set at the turn of last century, so the 1900s, and it is about two girls who work at going to be the opening of a new, very fancy department store in central London. For anybody who knows central London, it's set on Piccadilly, where the Piccadilly Waterstones is, which used to be a department store. It used to be called Simpsons, and the author has said that that was kind of her inspiration, that mixed with Harrods and Selfridges, all those kind of old-fashioned upper-class department stores. And it is obviously it says mystery, it's a mystery book. The day of the opening, one of the jewellery pieces, the Clockwork Sparrow, goes missing, and Sophie and Lillian, with the help of two boys who work and kind of hang out around the department store, Billy and Joe, set out to try and solve the mystery. It's really good book for this grey area, because obviously it has older bits in, because the girls are older. You see them living like 16-year-old girls do in that time, so they live in like a women's boarding house. So that kind of brings in a little bit of the element of sort of older than just a 9 to 12, book where they're still in school, because these girls aren't in school. But it does feature the kind of confinements of the shop, which features sort of bits like some mean catty girls in there and stuff that does look kind of, which they will know as sort of similar to school. So it does feel a little bit older, but without necessarily being a lot older. And like I said, it sits in 9 to 12. It is a series. There are more books. I haven't had a chance to read them all yet because my reading list is long. But they are incredibly good. Especially the very first one. I really have a soft spot for this first one. And yeah, I think it's a good one for that area. The second book I wanted to talk to you about is called Being Miss Nobody by Tamsin Winter. You'll find it in either the 9 to 12 section, or some stores may put it in the teen section. This is a video about the grey area, so that's kind of how this grey area works. The book is really good. It's layered. The main crux of the story is it's about a girl called Rosalind who is moving. It's her first year of secondary school, so going into her first year of secondary school, which is a big moment for anybody. And she also has this sort of added difficulty of having social anxiety and mutism. She can talk around her family, her mum, her dad and her little brother, but not anybody else. Her little brother Seb is a great character. Just to warn you, her brother is ill in the book. That's all I'm going to say about that, but it's a very good storyline and he is a very funny character. So Rosalind, as you can imagine, being essentially a mute at school means she gets bullied horrendously, and she doesn't want to tell anybody because she doesn't want to be a nuisance, because her parents obviously spend a lot of time trying to look after her little brother and take him to the hospital and things like that, so she doesn't want to be a pain. She goes and sees a therapist who tells her she needs to write a diary. And so she goes to her brother, and with his help they actually end up by setting up a website called Miss Nobody, and the point of the website is to basically expose the bullying of her that's happening at her high school, and to basically give her a voice and to give the other students who are being bullied a voice. It's a really good premise. Of course, there is fallout with the website and stuff, which is incredibly interesting. And it's also just a very good book for explaining social anxiety to people who you may have a child in your family who is suffering, or you may be a parent who is trying to understand. The way that they explain it in the book is through illustrations, so as well as having, obviously the words, you see these illustrations where she's got help like trapped in her throat. Another example is here, where she has what she's thinking as like a jumble of words, which I thought was just a really interesting concept. The book is really good, and it's not too dark. It sounds like it could be really dark. It's not too dark, and it is sort of perfect for that age group, for those kids that again have moved on from things like Wimpy Kid and whatever, and they want to have a more grown-up book, but at the same time themselves and their parents don't necessarily want them reading some of the older teen fiction books that are set sort of around 16-year-olds, and again with the blood and the death. So yeah, that's a really good one as well. Right, the third book I wanted to talk to you about is called Paper Towns by the King of YA, John Green. So this recommendation is for those kids in the grey area who just really want to read what the older kids are reading. But parent-wise, the parents may be like, oh, I know that lots of kids are reading John Green, Fault in Their Stars is incredibly popular, but is it okay? Paper Towns is a good option to give those kids, as one of the issues, I guess, with the other John Green books is there is a lot of swearing. Looking for Alaska particular is a little bit teens gone wild, which some parents might be fine with, but other parents, from what I've sort of learnt through my job, is they are not okay with that for their 11-year-olds to be reading that. So Paper Towns is a really good compromise. I've actually read it twice, which I don't normally read YA books multiple times, but this one I have. I really enjoyed it. The teens in it are older, so they are graduating high school, so you've got that older element, but it doesn't have any of the swearing, and the storyline, it is more about the storyline, and the storyline is very interesting. It's told from a boy's perspective, Quentin, who is the main character, which makes it different to the other books I've talked about today. And he has a crush on his next door neighbour called Margot, another Margot, popular name in YA. And she basically knocks on his window one night and takes him on this adventure through Florida where they live. They live around kind of where the theme parks are. They break into SeaWorld. They sort of have this one sort of crazy adventurous night, and then after that she disappears. So Quentin, obviously having this crush on her, obviously having this sort of just experienced this night of his life, wants to discuss it with Margot, and she's gone. So he wants to find her. Margot leaves him clues, and he follows them, and then the book turns into a really cool road trip book where they go to try and find her, which is Quentin and his mates. It's a really funny book, but again, like all the others, it's got layers. Quentin, again, is kind of just a normal teen. You know, he has parents, he speaks to them, he doesn't hate them. Margot, not the same. She has issues with her parents. But again, it's that same type of thing of it feeling very sort of realistic and just a good solid read. So yeah, these were my 3 recommends for books in that weird grey area of 11 to 13, 14. If you have any suggestions or any ideas of books that would be really good for people that age, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you've read and or what your kids have read, and what you think of these suggestions. The next book vlog will be a parenting book vlog for anybody out there who is a parent and interested to know about that. And yeah, and if you have any other suggestions of vlogs that you would like me to do about books, please let me know and put it in the comments. Thank you, bye!